The sound of the crowd faded into silence as tears welled up in Amara's eyes. The tray slipped from her trembling hands, crashing onto the floor. Glass shattered, just like the dignity she'd tried so hard to hold on to. The laughter of customers echoed, and the restaurant owner's harsh voice cut through her like a blade. "You're done here, Amara. Pack your things. You're fired." For a moment, she couldn't breathe. The lights above blurred through her tears, and she stood frozen, humiliated, heartbroken, and stripped of everything she'd built. The only thing louder than the whispers around her was the voice inside her head repeating, "You weren't enough. You'll never be enough." Little did she know that a tiny voice, belonging to a child with the purest heart, was about to change her life forever. Amara Johnson had worked at Silver Spoon Diner for 3 years. Every morning, she woke before the sun, braided her hair neatly, put on her white apron, and wore her best smile. She wasn't just serving food. She was serving hope, kindness, and warmth to every soul who walked in. But behind that bright smile lived exhaustion. Bills piled up like walls she couldn't climb. Her mother's hospital treatments had drained every penny she had, and her dreams of studying culinary arts seemed like distant stars she could no longer reach. Still, she pushed through, because she had to. That morning, everything changed. The restaurant was full, the chatter was loud, and Amara's mind was clouded by worry. When she accidentally spilled coffee on a rich customer's suit, the owner, Mr. Daniels, stormed out of his office, his face red with fury. "Do you know how much that suit costs?" he shouted, grabbing the cup from her trembling hand. "I am sorry, sir. I didn't mean." "Enough," he barked, slamming his fist on the counter. "You've been careless lately. I can't afford mistakes. You're fired." The room went silent. Every eye turned toward her. Amara's lips trembled, but no sound came. She felt naked before them, her shame on full display. "Please, Mr. Daniels," she whispered, her voice breaking. "I need this job. My mother." "I said you're done, Amara." The words hit her like thunder. She wanted to fight back, but instead, she turned and walked away. Her legs felt heavy, her chest tight, as she whispered to herself, "It's just a bad dream. It's not real. Tomorrow, it'll be fine." But the truth was brutal. She sat on the bus home, staring out the window as raindrops slid down the glass like her tears. Her reflection looked like a stranger, tired eyes, cracked spirit, empty hands. She couldn't tell her mother. She couldn't bear to see worry shadow her gentle face. So she lied. "Work's fine, Mama," she said softly that night, kissing her forehead. But the words tasted bitter, because she knew her world was quietly falling apart. Days turned into weeks. Amara applied for job after job, only to be turned away. Her savings vanished, and her hope followed. Every night, she sat on her porch under the moonlight, whispering to herself, "Why me? Haven't I suffered enough?" One morning, she decided to visit Silver Spoon Diner again, not for a job, but to face the ghost of her past. She stood across the street, watching through the window. Inside, everything was the same, except her. And then she saw him. A little boy, no more than 7, sitting at a corner table with his mother. He had wide, curious eyes and a smile that seemed to carry sunlight. She remembered him. He used to visit often with his mother. When she served him before, she'd always add extra whipped cream on his pancakes and tell him stories about magic kindness. The boy used to giggle and call her Miss Sunshine. That morning, he saw her standing outside and waved excitedly. "Miss Sunshine," he shouted, running toward her before his mother could stop him. Amara knelt down, forcing a smile. "Hey there, little man. Why don't you work here anymore?" he asked innocently. She swallowed hard. I made a mistake." The boy tilted his head. "But you always said mistakes don't make us bad people. They just make us human." Her breath caught. He looked up at her, eyes shining with childlike truth. "Mommy says good people get hurt sometimes because the world forgets their worth. But I remember you, Miss Sunshine. You made my sad days happy." Amara's eyes filled with tears. In that moment, something inside her cracked, not from pain, but from realization. Maybe she had been too hard on herself. Maybe losing that job wasn't punishment, it was redirection. The boy's mother approached, placing a gentle hand on Amara's shoulder. "You changed my son's mornings, dear. Maybe it's time you start changing your own." Those words became a seed in her heart, a seed of rebirth. Weeks later, Amara began baking again, something she'd abandoned long ago. She used her mother's old recipes, mixing memories with courage, fear with hope. One small step at a time, she started selling cookies and pies from her porch. Word spread quickly. People remembered her kindness, her smile, her warmth. Soon, she had more orders than she could handle. What began as survival slowly turned into purpose. One afternoon, a familiar figure appeared, Mr. Daniels, the restaurant owner. He looked older, wearier, remorse written all over his face. "Amara," he said softly, "I came to apologize. The day I fired you, that little boy came inside crying. He told me I hurt Miss Sunshine." His words, his voice cracked. They made me realize I'd lost something precious. Not an employee, but a soul who brought light to this place. Amara smiled faintly. "It's okay, Mr. Daniels. You didn't break me. You just helped me find where I truly belong." He wiped a tear from his eye. "If you ever want your job back." She shook her head gently. "Thank you, but I've started something of my own. Something that feels right." That night, as she closed her little bakery window, the stars glimmered above her. She thought of that child, his simple, innocent words that had reignited her flame. Sometimes, healing doesn't come from grand gestures. It comes from small hearts that still believe in you when you've stopped believing in yourself. Amara whispered to the night, "I am enough. I always was." Moral of the story. Even in our darkest moments, one act of kindness, one innocent word, can light the path back to ourselves. Life may strip away our pride, but it cannot take our worth. Healing begins when we stop asking why me and start believing maybe it's for me.